welcome back to Just Another Football Podcast. This is currently the Monday after the Sunday before, where possibly one of the greatest finals we've all ever seen, right? Fergal happened.
Yeah, greatest. I think it might be the greatest 0-0 final.
Yeah, that's besides the point.
I think though Chelsea lost, I really enjoyed myself. So, but and we'll get into it all. But I thought it was a really good final. And probably I might be best 0-0 I can. Definitely the best 0-0 I can remember anyway.
Yeah, definitely. And the ball's in the back of the net like 5 times or whatever. And we'll talk about that, about all of that. But how's your weekend, man? All good?
All good. I was out and about and enjoying myself.
Very cool.
Yeah, rounded off quite nicely watching the cup final with mates and stuff, even if it didn't go the way I wanted it to.
Yeah. Oh well, doing all right, mates. Most important thing.
Yeah,
the football. But hey, before we get into the Chelsea Liverpool game, obviously everything we're gonna talk about is sport, and it ultimately doesn't matter. I learned something in one of my classes, the economics classes, is that fundamentally sports don't matter, because the outcome doesn't affect like human lives, and what happened over the last week definitely did affect millions. And yeah, I just wanted to say like right from the very start, this disgusting and completely unnecessary invasion that I know a lot of the Russian population also disagrees with, and that's affected now multiple, like this football podcast, it's affected multiple football careers, millions and millions of jobs now that Russia is banned from any footballing competition. The International Olympic Committee is looking at the moment, that might have happened already by the time this episode is released. The International Olympic Committee is looking to remove Russia from all Olympic competition for the foreseeable future. Hopefully it doesn't escalate into, what we fear the most. But we just wanted to, at the very least, acknowledge it. I believe strongly in the power of prayer. If you know me, you know I'm a religious person. I practice Islam, and I believe in the power of prayer. So I want to offer my prayers to the people of Ukraine and the people that are suffering from war everywhere. Please do not forget about anyone suffering from unnecessary military conflict that's affecting normal human lives. And the Russian invasion on Ukraine, it's gotta bring up the rest of the conflicts around the world, and it's gotta wake the world up to all that's happening. And yeah, I just want to offer up my prayers, and that's all we can do, really. Like, I strongly believe that whenever I see something wrong, I try to change it in the best way possible. And maybe, prayer, if you have any spare cash that you can donate to causes that end world conflict, world hunger,
help
improving.
Yeah,
exactly. And improving just human lives, improving situations that people are put in unnecessarily. So yeah, be kind, be helpful, stay positive, I guess, stick together, and we can only move forward. What can I say? So yeah, I don't know if you have anything to add, Fergal, but it's
yes, yeah. I had a great weekend, but a talking point that constantly was coming up, it was Ukraine and Russia, and just like very different weekend that lads my age would have had, fighting for their country and for their family, and yeah, no, definitely my thoughts are with those that in Ukraine. I'm hoping for peace very soon for them.
Hopefully so, and for everybody else around the world. Lads our age would have been professional footballers playing. You saw Zinchenko Oh God, Michaelenko, the Everton City game. Yaremchuk for Benfica. That was a very emotional moment. But yeah, all the best for um, our friends in Ukraine, and hopefully people start to think. I don't know what to say. Let's move on. Today we're going to talk about the possibly one of the greatest cup finals we've seen in a while, if not ever. Um, and some of the wild things that happened in the Premier League this week. Leeds United, Man City winning by snatching 3 points out of somewhere, and United still being United. And then Tammy Abraham did another thing in Serie A. Serie A remains mad. We're gonna delve into this, and just another fantasy pick for the second week in a row has had like such a surprise turn of results. You want to stick around for that? Is going to be towards
I
the
had
end.
the tables have turned.
Oh, how the tables have turned. We're going to get into all of this after this short break. Chelsea 0, Liverpool 0. Liverpool win 11-10 on penalties after 11 rounds of spot kicks. When the ball has been in the back of the net over the 120 minutes played about 5 times, I don't remember watching a final like this. I'm going to say this from the start, right? I've berated this competition again and again on this podcast and elsewhere because the League Cup, it's limited to the 4 top divisions. You already have the FA Cup, which decides the best team in knockout form in the country, and includes everybody else, and is year round, includes amateur teams, all of that. So I've always preferred the FA Cup over the League Cup. I hadn't celebrated like this in I don't know. I can't remember celebrating because of all the tension of the game. Celebrating like this in a while.
Yeah, it was a really tightly contested game. I mean, all the games between Liverpool and Chelsea have been this year and have been really entertaining, pretty much. Um, and it took 11 penalties from both sides to split it in the end. But I really enjoyed the game. I was watching with Liverpool mates, or with Liverpool support mates, and it was I had great fun watching it. And it was thought yeah, like a proud performance from Chelsea. A lot. We seem to raise it for Liverpool,
Yeah.
and Spurs. And it's like, right, can we just see this more often? The front three looking like maybe the way forward for now.
Mm.
And yeah, it's I was disappointed obviously, but I it was just like it just wasn't our day in the end. I thought results, the decisions went against us, and then we didn't help ourselves either. Just not putting in the ball in the back of the net with the good chances we had.
Oh yeah, and we're gonna get into those chances because I thought the setup of both teams played a big part in that. Chelsea's big opportunities were definitely more than Liverpool's big opportunities.
Yeah.
We did have a few, but Chelsea is now in a back 3 again. Thomas Tuchel had experimented a little bit with the back 4 especially when Chua Alonso were out. Alonso obviously started, so I guess that's what allowed him to get into a 3 at the back. Or do you just think that 4 at the back didn't really work? Let's just get back to 3 at the back.
No, I think 4 the back's still the future, but I just think it's a work in progress. So it's for a cup final. We're gonna go with the formation that will keep us in it. That will keep us tight, and then we know that we can get a performance out of. I still think you won't. That's not the end of the 4 at the back. It's just that to be honest, I don't think we still not having attacking fullbacks means that we can't really play 4 at the back to its full potential. but especially on the left hand side, like it's either Alonso, who's a liability at left back as opposed to left wing back,
Yeah.
or it's Manuel and Sarr, who's like an awkward centre back, but a left back, and he's solid defensively, but it means that yeah, you can't you're not relying on any great overlaps, and then Azpilicueta, who is really good at right back, but he's not again not amazing going forward, but he still surprises you. He'll still put in a lovely deep cross. He'll still maybe get in at the back post. Still do his bit. Like yeah, it was the three at the back definitely more solid. I was delighted to see Chalobah start.
Oh yeah. And Chalobah did start because Christensen was the one, I guess, that would have started it if he wasn't injured in training 2 days before.
Yeah, well, with Christensen, he's not committing himself to the club, and I just think Christensen is, I think, he's further away in contract talks than Rudiger. Rudiger's the one being talked about a lot, but I don't think Christensen will sign a new contract. I think Rudiger's more likely, from what I've been hearing about the two of them.
Wow, and Rudiger's the better right back, so I guess you kind of would be.
Yeah, well, neither of them are guaranteed now, but and even Azpilicueta has been talked about moving to Barcelona. So,
hello, that's gonna be a big summer.
It's going to be an interesting summer for Chelsea for sure, but for the meantime, Chalobah, I think he's good enough to start. I thought he's brilliant.
Oh, he's absolutely brilliant. I think the highlight of the game, just to focus on Trevor Chalobah a little bit. Obviously, he put away his penalty pretty well, and he was the 11th outfield player the 10th outfield player for Chelsea. But his individual battle with Luis Diaz, I think Luis Diaz had an amazing game. I also think Trevor Chalobah kind of had him. I don't know how this works, but both played. It was so much fun. It was so much Luis Diaz kind of got the better of Trevor Chalobah sometimes, but Trevor Chalobah would recover and then holds up Luis Diaz.
Yeah, my reading of it was that I think that he was identified as Luis Diaz, he was in great form. He just looks so dangerous. Box of tricks, pace, and his touch is incredible. And my read of it was that Chalobah knew that he's not going to win in every area of the pitch with Diaz, so he would pick and choose the battles he would try.
Yeah,
and so he'd let Diaz have his moments, and let him have his space, not get too tight to Diaz.
Yeah.
But at the same time, negating the big risks of him getting on the inside of him or getting beyond him, and kept him quiet in the hole. But at the same time, as you said, Diaz just still was able to show his quality at times. And yeah, really, really interesting battle, that one.
Oh yeah. Well, Luis Diaz, afar from Trevor Chalobah, everyone he took on was he'd flick it over somebody, not someone, and then make a little look pass.
Yeah.
Wow. He's so fun to watch. But yeah, moving on from the Chelsea back line to Liverpool's back line, because I have concerns. The amount of they played the offside trap pretty well considering the number of goals that was given offside. Absolutely, we did the offside trap pretty well. I have a thing against it though. It makes me uncomfortable watching it because the amount of space you're at least affording the opportunity it's just a lot. You see Matip pressing Kovacic. Kovacic was a monster, and then you see Matip pressing Kovacic 10 yards beyond midfield, and then Kovacic just skins him, and then the open spaces there's the obvious Matip hole.
And also he was on Trent's side as well, so you have the space that Trent would negate, and then Matip on top of that. And I thought Chelsea did target that side. Maybe not target it. Maybe it was just available there. And
it's just the whole side, yeah.
But it was, I always find it interesting. I think there's two type of football fans. There's a football fan that will look at goal being ruled out for offside as we got lucky there, that was offside, or you look at it and go, great offside trap because that was offside and we planned to do that. It's interesting. I am more of a that's a great offside trap. We've got that spot on.
Yeah.
Even though like because even it's a hard thing to get around because in your head you're like, well, they've scored, and we're just lucky that a man chose to raise his flag. So it's it is one of these things with football. Is like you just have to back it.
I do think it was planned. The
Yeah.
only
No, they've been playing it for a long time, haven't they?
They have, yes. But again, I just don't like Lukaku should have been given the goal that he scored in extra time. That was an offside trap that didn't go well. We got lucky then because it wasn't offside. It just wasn't offside. Like I think the only reason it was given on offside was because of the angle at which the replay they used was. And I'm very surprised that at a stadium like Wembley, they're first of all not able to get higher quality cameras and also better angles because that was from the corner of the field, not on the sideline somehow.
Because it was near the halfway line. And a great ball by Trevor Chalobah. He came out of the defence and a lovely way to pass. Perhaps he could have played it earlier, and then it would have definitely been on. But yeah, with that one I'm like the offside trap. I'm like fair enough. You literally have to draw a line somewhere.
Yeah.
And sometimes it'll fall for you, and sometimes it won't. But I like the fact that at least that is the most clear-cut thing that we have. We're fair enough. That one's offside, fine. But it was incredibly close.
It was very, very,
and
very close.
And then you look on Twitter and you're like, because afterwards, I mean, I was in a pub watching it, and I'm like, up on a big telly, and you chat with your mates, a couple of drinks, so I'm like, I'm not there. Like able to zoom in, enhance.
Yeah.
Can we
enhance?
Enhance that image.
200%.
Zoom in. Yeah. So we're not able to do that in that situation. But then on Twitter afterwards, you have people doing that on your behalf, and I'm going enhance. There's the lines, and then you're there going, maybe he was just on, but. And maybe I like they thicken the lines. This is a discussion point that they thicken the lines at the start of the season. I'd like to know, maybe they've put it out there, but I just haven't seen it. I'd like to know, was there any scientific way that they came up with how thick the lines should be?
No.
Or did they just go, we'll make them? Did they just go on the way when you just. Did they just increase the font size? They just went down to the next the next
highlighted
option for line. Yeah,
5 points.
Because surely there is a mathematical way to like work out average margin for error based on the capabilities of the technology. You should be able to work out the amount of space that you could be out by, and therefore that would be the line on the pitch.
I will say. Yeah. I think they made the lines thinner than last season, but that's completely based on my horrible memory. But I do think they made
definitely made thicker.
Thinner. Thicker or thinner?
Thicker. The lines were at the start of the season were made thicker, so that it did give more of a margin for error, and it was more favourable to the opposing team. That's definitely been done, or at least they said it's been done. I haven't got the two lines and analysing it. But yeah, no. As far as I know, but look, I'm not overly annoyed about that one. But I am overly annoyed by it. Because it was really tight call, and they have to be quick with it and whatever, and yeah. Keita challenge on Chalobah though.
Naby Keita,
Naby Keita on Chalobah.
obviously Naby Keita started only because Thiago was injured in literally the last 5 minutes of warm up. I'm heartbroken for
Did
Thiago,
he
man.
injure? Did he do that to Thiago? Is that why?
I don't think so.
Chalaba had to get 6 stitches where the sun don't shine. You know, it's
Oh god.
like I, I just couldn't get over it. Like if it was on his knee, if it was on his like if it was up above his if it was above if he came down on like that just above his shin guard, it'd be like, oh, that's a leg breaker. Never mind a leg
Yeah.
breaker, that's a ball breaker. That's, that's
I
gonna have a lot. That's
I
gonna
don't
have a lot
know.
more lasting impact. It's far more dangerous. He had to get 6 stitches. And he still played on and still put his penalty away. They're like incredible stuff from Chalobah. But like, I honestly don't get how it's like so much higher, and yet it's like, he
Whatever.
got him on a nice meaty part of the thigh that didn't break a leg. Like like
I don't get it.
I honestly don't get how that's not a red card. It's literally like you talk about having a high foot. It was
Yeah.
like, and he had force as well. And he ended up not getting anything.
Well, what I've seen, it is a red card. What I've seen is because Chalobah's foot was high too. So it kind of canceled
The
things out.
crucial thing is Chalobah got the ball.
lucky. Oh, did he get the ball? I don't remember the play
Chalobah won the ball. Chalobah
Did he? Okay.
nicked in ahead.
Oh, I
And
guess there is
also-
someone that would have won the ball, so it's obviously Chalobah, yeah.
And
So
also,
if Chalobah won the ball,
the
then
thing about Chalobah is, though his leg was high, it wasn't actually directed at Keita.
at Keita, yeah, Keita's leg was directed at the meaty part of Chalobah.
Chalobah was looking to knock the ball on field, and we're looking at it. If Chalobah was knocking the ball straight ahead of him, Naby Keita came in at 45 degrees towards him.
Yeah.
Like Chalobah's foot actually wasn't in the direction of Keita. He was looking to knock the ball on, and he won the ball. Which, if you want to send Chalobah off as well, and you go down that route, then fine. But Naby Keita should have been sent off by the way. You know what I mean?
No, I would have said he wasn't even given a yellow, was it? Was he? He
No,
wasn't even
'cause
given a foul.
The ref didn't.
The outrageous thing is that the referee, for me, like head injuries, you stop the play immediately. Nut injuries, you don't. How? Like, how did he keep the play going for 15 seconds? And this guy is absolutely just 10, like on a 10 on a 10 scale. That probably is a 10. Like that's the most pain he's ever been in his entire life, possibly.
I need 10
I hope he wasn't
minutes
more in pain.
I need 10 minutes just to confirm that they're still attached to me. No, it would take me 10 minutes just to thank God. You know what I mean?
Oh god!
After getting a collision like that, you'd be there just going, "Thank you."
God.
Never mind, get over the pain.
You know what? I think we have the title for the episode 2, Nutbreaker. So sorry guys. But yeah, this was a red card. I do think we got like extra lucky, and we'll get to Man City Everton. I was furious about the decisions in that game too, but we'll get to that soon. But I guess what this game taught me is just for like some things referees are idiots. VAR, like Harry said last week, referees are bad. VAR is bad. Personally, I don't think there's much hope, so just forget about it. Things will happen. Like, things will go your way. Sometimes they'll go against you. It's just like football that way. Pretend it didn't exist. Let's talk about the football. And the football was incredible. Even VAR added to just the drama of it. And yeah, it was like extra time was amazing too. Extra time And this kind of debate was brought up after the game in various mediums. Is extra time necessary? Because everyone was kind of knackered, or is usually just really really tired. And certainly the African Cup of Nations extra times were horrendous, and that didn't happen too long ago because nobody could run. Even Luis Diaz, I think Luis Diaz was injured, but also like an injury, a fatigue injury because he ran so much during the 9 minutes. He got subbed off, and yeah, but it was still amazing. There was the Lukaku incident, the VAR was during extra time, and then we go on to penalties. Man, okay, so here's the thing, Quiveen Kelleher, you would be, I guess, you, as a fellow Irishman, I guess you're happy for him. I guess you're.
I didn't. Yeah, no. Like this is it. It was like I could take a positive from this game. I take a couple positives. It was a great game, good Chelsea performance. Just lost on penalties, and an Irishman was the hero at the end of it all. It's not. Had worse days.
Yeah, you've had worse days as a Chelsea fan. And you're still world champion, so Carabao pales significance.
Yeah. No, he done well, made good saves himself. I mean, just to talk about Chelsea just briefly, like, it was really really good, and on Chelsea, I don't know why I'm even bringing this up, but Chelsea Twitter, like, I'm sure every club's the same. Like, just like trying to paint a villain out. Like people were like talking about who's the villain for Chelsea, like who's like looking
Blame
for someone
game.
to blame, and I'm just like yeah, no, like definitely like you can name the people that made mistakes, but like like to make it the be all and end all and be like we have to have villain of the match as well as man of the match or whatever. It's so stupid, and I'm like if you hear Mason Mount talk, like that he won't forget that. He keeps his runners up medals as a reminder. He's got 4 of them now, I think. He'll for as Chelsea, and like he missed really good chances, but at the same time he made great runs. He's part of that front three that were really fluid and really promising.
The run for the one that hit the post, by the way, I just wanted to mention that, because here's the thing with like Havertz and not starting Lukaku and the front three staying as fluid as they are. You had Pulisic miss a chance early on from the center. You had Havertz score from the left-hand side, flagged offside, of course, and from centrally to the header that was flagged offside as well, and Mount central. So it wasn't really a front three. It was like a 2-1, and they can like flip like a triangle.
Yeah, two of the two. What one was it? It was the Mount's one that he put wide, and Pulisic's one that was saved by Kelleher.
Exact same spot.
Identical moves, but players at different points of the triangle. As you said, it was like it was flipped around, and like that's incredibly dangerous if we can get that going.
Definitely, it could have resulted in 3 goals. Like the Mount chance that he put just inside the post. That I saw the goal go, I saw the ball going in. Like I was like prepared. Yeah. This is a goal now. I was like and then see the ball hit the post, and I just stopped. And like my jaw genuinely dropped. It was one of those. Crikey.
But yeah, moving on to the penalties, But I was actually gonna I'll do it like this. What's your opinion on the Kepa switch?
I thought it was sensible, because Kepa has won penalty shootouts for Chelsea before. I think it was the one that would have put Chelsea, Thomas Tuchel and Kepa in less scrutiny was to stick with Mendy, because Mendy did play a penalty shootout very recently for Senegal and won a penalty shootout, saving 2 penalties, with 2 very bad penalties, but he saved 2. So he is capable, and he's in my opinion, one of the best goalkeepers in the
Well,
world.
the save he made, the double save he made for against Man United,
For Sadio Mane,
he made.
just incredible.
Uh,
Like the shot from Naby Keita
Incredible.
was savable, but then it drops to Mane, and that's another one. I'm prepared. This is a goal.
Yeah.
I go off my seat, celebrate, and I like just see it fly over the bar. Just something that not many people in the world can do. So I wouldn't have seen like they would have talked about it and they will have trained and they will have seen the difference between Kepa's
It would have been
abilities
the
and
decision
Mendy's
going in.
abilities.
Yeah.
It would have been, but like maybe just the thing that would have put Chelsea in less scrutiny was keep Kepa on the bench. Let's take to Mendy as a goalkeeper.
I mean, that's a risk in itself though, because Kepa will grab the substitute board and put his number up himself. You have to be careful. I thought it was the right decision. I thought it makes a lot of sense. The only thing that would have swung it in the way was just Mendy was incredible. He saved the Van Dijk header as well.
Yeah, the very end.
Laid on, and it was, and yeah, it was like he done brilliantly. And that, like, if you have a player that's just having one of those games, do you sub him off? And maybe that's where Tuchel makes his money, and he improves. He's world class, and just makes that switch. But we'll never know, and I don't blame him for it. Like, I would have been happy to see Kepa start the whole game, just because I think it promotes. Whenever you've got a big squad, I think it's important to make sure that every player feels involved, and to let them know that if you do well in the opportunities given to you, that you'll be given bigger moments and bigger responsibility. And so he got his responsibility, and he didn't make a save. I watched the penalties back, and I've come up with a wee bit of logic now. Analysts and whatever, and penalty experts and goalkeeping experts might say it sounds ridiculous, but it makes sense to me. The penalties, you've got, as a goalkeeper, you've got a 1 in 3 chance of going the right way. You can go left, right, or stay in the middle.
Okay.
So Kepa was actually below 1 in 3. Going, I'm not saying saving it, but going the right direction. He was just below it. He went the right way in 3 out of 11. Which I think I don't know. I think it was about 2.7 on the Richter scale.
Richter scale
of 3 divided by 11. So yeah, or it was not 0.27. Whatever. Anyway, but yeah, that's he came below his own very high standards for penalty saving, and like the fact that the most annoying one was the Van Dijk one.
I love that.
You've tried to do something smart, and then he goes the side that you went for, and you're just like not prepared for him to go that side.
He shifts, doesn't he? And then he realizes going the other way and doesn't jump. Like his foot doesn't leave the floor.
He doesn't have any. Foot doesn't leave the floor, and then the Kanate one, I think he'd be very disappointed because he got a lot of his hand on that,
definitely,
and still didn't save it.
Guevino had one of those as well, slipped under his hand.
Yeah, it didn't feel
as hard as easy.
It didn't feel like he got as nearly enough connection as Kepa did.
Yeah.
Also, Kepa's got this thing about being a shithouse. Like he's a bit of a dickhead,
bit eccentric.
In these moments, like likes to try and wind people up, do stuff like the Van Dijk penalty. It's interesting that he chose Van Dijk to do that.
Yeah.
Out of everybody, maybe it's because he's within the 5 and he's like, I'll pick a defender. Maybe he wanted to do that within the first 5. Because then as opposed to letting it go to sudden death. But then I'd be like, give that another go on someone like Harvey Elliott or Kanate. or like
Yeah.
give that sort of thing a go on someone else. The other thing is, if you're gonna be this type of goalkeeper, add a yellow card in the penalty shootout. You know, like go up to the point of wasting time being a nuisance until you get your first yellow card, and then start behaving yourself. Especially when he gets to sudden death. If he gets to sudden death, you go and wait for the referee to have to push you back. You know, but pick your moment. If it goes to sudden death, pick your player. You go. Who do I think is gonna bottle it if I really like act the dick? You know, which one of these players? And I feel like that's what he's like, penalty specialist. That's what he does try and do a bit of. He tries to make himself look bigger and all the rest of it.
Mm.
And he has done really well in the past. And Marcus Bettinelli, the third choice goalkeeper, talked about it, about how he's like, he believes he's going to save every penalty. He believes he's got the better chance in a penalty shootout against anybody. But yeah, that was my like thought on like just Kepa and like I once it gets to him and he plays over the bar, I was acting the big man as well. I was like, he'll definitely save too. I was saying this to the lads I was with.
Yeah.
And whenever it was him that ended up missing it, I was so confident going into penalty. I was like, we've won this. We're gonna win this. And then it was actually Kepa that ended up costing us in the end. It was pretty funny. But yeah.
I will say about Kepa, I think he put more mentally into being a shithouse than into focusing on saving penalties.
Yeah, perhaps.
That's what I would say. I would say Kelleher to fair play for scoring the penalty. What a guy to step up in that way and put it like that was one of the better penalties taken. Send Kepa the wrong way. It's not that difficult as we you know, in that particular game, as we said. But put top ends like that is very good. I think he's like he used to be a forward in the academy. So
yeah,
that might have played the role.
He was up until 13. He was a striker for. I don't know how the. I don't know. Like, I don't know if he was Did he switch? I actually don't know his history well enough to know if he switched. Did he get scouted as a goalkeeper for Liverpool, or did he? I think he was scouted.
I think he was scouted as a goalkeeper for Liverpool, though.
Right.
But yeah, just to close this off, credit where it's due for the Liverpool penalty takers, and there was so much to talk about in this penalty shootout. But like a special mention to the Salah penalty, him going back and telling Jorginho not to jump. I thought that was good.
Yeah, it worked really well.
It worked very well, of course. I enjoyed the moment, but then I didn't enjoy Kelleher being fooled by it because Jorginho penalties are easy to save, in my opinion.
I still don't trust it. I still don't trust the thing. You just need to, as a goalkeeper, you just need to have bottle.
Just look at the ball. That's all. And you should have enough like reflexes to go the right way when the ball is as central as it is from Jorginho to be able to save it. And we've talked about it a lot before, but it still happens. I don't know how. Someone needs to have a word with the goalkeeper union around the world. Obviously, Trent and Reece James scoring back-to-back identical penalties. Yeah. That was ridiculous.
That was pretty funny.
Fabinho's the second penalty, the one that was a dig that I think is the best shootout Panenka since Pirlo in 2012.
I wondered, did that get in Kepa's head? Did that affect him?
Rattle him?
Because I think if I remember rightly, I think Fabinho's penalty was one of the ones where he went big on giving it the big and like he was jumping around a bit and he was still full of confidence because it was only the second penalty, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then he got that done to him, and I do wonder if that he took a wee knock in confidence like that he got done like that. It was a great penalty.
Great penalty shootout overall. Great game. I hope to see something like this soon. I don't know how. I don't think it will happen again. But whatever you expected from this game is not what you got. You got way more. Let's move on to the Premier League. Because the Premier League, the highlight of the weekend, like the Carabao Cup overshadowed everything that happened in the weekend, Premier League wise. But Manchester City did play a 1-0 win at Everton. It was only one, surprisingly so. Everton apparently played very well. I didn't watch the game myself. I watched like maybe the last 15 minutes of it because I work, came back, caught the last 15.
I've just seen the two big incidents from this game: the goal and the handball shout.
I feel like I want to punch a wall, dude. I have my PC set up. The wall is directly behind the PC. I just want to reach and like break the wall in front of me. I'm angry. But I mean, we won a tournament the day after with poor refereeing decisions going our way, 100%. So at least that like calmed me down a little bit and taught me, hey, just enjoy the football for what it is, and don't be a fool.
Still in your hands, Ali. Still in your hands.
Still my hands. It's still in Liverpool's hands. Still my hands. Liverpool's hands. My hands, of course. But yeah, a 0-0 or a 1-1 would have boosted our chances a lot. And the problem that I have with this game is, first of all, the goal. I don't know how professional defenders deals with a ball that way. Like, it took a deflection just when it starts to get on its way into the penalty area. Have you seen the goal?
Michael Keane was just like so off balance and on the back foot so much. It was it was just both aspects of that. Both big moments were really annoying to watch as someone who wants City to drop points.
Yeah,
hope that Chelsea still have an outside chance, but.
Oh, dude! If Arsenal win, if Arsenal win their game in hand, they'll be 3 points behind you. It's ridiculous. Based on that fact alone, I don't think you have a chance. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I think Michael Keane is one of the most unathletic players in the whole of the Premier League. God, how does he just airball that so much? And then obviously the penalty, it transpires that it doesn't hit the t-shirt line. It hits like the underside. And there's this panel. I don't remember what the name of the panel is, but apparently it like reviews decisions in every game. And it said it looked a penalty, but it doesn't have any barring of the decision making. But then there's no consequences to the referees making such a big error and costing maybe millions of money. First of all, when it comes to the promotion relegation race, because you don't get a half of Premier League income into the Championship generously, and the Premier League title that is directly affecting the Premier League title and who's gonna get awarded the league, and still that decision is directly impacting the result, and they're like the referees can still get away with it, and but again, Liverpool won with bad penalty calls, so I'm not going to talk about this again. And hopefully I won't talk about the conversations.
The only good thing to come from this, apparently, from what I've didn't see the game, but Harry put in our chat, Man City were bad. That's our only hope that there's more to come of that, but I wouldn't hold my breath.
And by the time we play them, I think it's in April. Maybe they'll have dropped off, and then we can win this game and give ourselves a step forward. United 0, Watford 0. This is the weekly Man United slander session. Cristiano Ronaldo had a moment where he just stood there in the penalty box. Bruno Fernandes took a shot that was on target, but Ronaldo didn't attempt to move out of the way and just had the ball. Like, he stood like a mannequin. It was bizarre. And
I did see that.
The ball just hit him, and he didn't move. He just took the Bruno Fernandes through arms. Like, come on, man. Like, do some type of Ronaldo is one of two things: either a goal scorer or someone that will provide movement. He's being neither. What's the point? And 0 against Watford is damning for Man United, I think.
Roy the boy rides again. That's good point for Roy.
Good point for Roy. Great point for Roy, actually, because the Watford fans are I think apparently Watford are already dissatisfied with Roy Keane. Roy
Roy Hodgson.
Hodgson. Roy Keane. That's saying in. I called Roy Hodgson Roy Keane. Nice. All right, that's straight into the bloopers. Yeah, that's a really good point for them. Still don't think it means that they'll stay up. I think it means more for United than Watford and how easy it is to get points out of them. But yeah, that's after a midweek though, where they got a result out of Atletico Madrid, 1-1. Anthony Elanga scored a good goal, but then you expect like United to they played terribly that game, but then it could have been a result that whenever there's hope for Man United that it could be the start of some form of run, it falls apart.
But
and I love
even
that
with
so
that
much.
though, even with that though, they got battered, and then Elanga just took a. It was like a poor defensive mistake, and then strange moment from that Oblak was just caught in an awkward spot.
Yeah,
I mean, it was good that Elanga took the shot early, which probably helped catch Oblak off guard. But
did you see Elanga's interview by the way after the game?
No.
He said that he studies the goalkeepers before every game, and he knew that in one-on-one situations, in terms of going down, Oblak isn't very good. So he deliberately took the shot early when he found himself one-on-one. So I found fascinating. Yeah.
Fair play.
Fair play.
He'll go a long way if he's doing that amount of research on every opposition player he comes up against. Brilliant. Yeah.
Of course. So that's Man United, a fellow former employee of the Red Bull franchise to Ralph Rangnick, former Ralph Rangnick assistant Jesse Marsch has been appointed as Leeds United manager for Marcelo Bielsa. And we had FJC Fergus, who is a Leeds United fan, friend of the pod, season ticket holder at Leeds.
Bielsa Ultra.
Episode Bielsa Ultra.
I'm not still sure if I wonder if Fergus will become a Bielsa stan and just follow Bielsa.
Just follow Bielsa everywhere he goes.
He did love Bielsa that much. He is Leeds through and through is Fergus, but he was not best pleased.
He was not.
And
I think the vast majority of Leeds, based on the reaction I've seen on Twitter anyway, and it might be skewed, they're not really happy with the sacking. Although I thought the sacking was, if the results continued the way they are, 7 against Man City, 6 against Liverpool, and then there was the 4 against Tottenham there, losing 3-0 to Everton.
The Everton result was particularly bad. The other ones, the most annoying thing for me is it's like they just weren't giving themselves a chance. Like, they concede a goal so early. Like, at least be a bit solid, get into the game, and then grow into it, and then stay in the game, and you've got quality that you can score. Like, they're down 3-0 at half time in the game against Spurs, and it's like I'll be more of a pragmatist, and I just I really rate Marcelo Bielsa, but he's in such a tricky position that I think you have to just go. I mean, I go back on my principles in that scenario and go more just to get through
adapt to situations.
Difficult spell. You've got a lot of injuries. You're up against tough opponents.
Yeah,
adapt to it.
Yeah.
And then whenever you've got the easier run of fixtures, and go for it. It can't do the squad unless he has the squad drilled mentally very well. It must be so deflated after conceding so many goals in the space, 6-0 against Liverpool. How can you be positive going forward after that
with
result?
the same tactics?
With the same tactics, that must bring it down. Not everybody's going to be as strong on these tactics mentally and have so much belief in it as he does. And then the whole thing about being man to man is means each individual player has to win their own individual battle.
Yeah.
And come out on top. But if you're not even got your own best 11 out and you're coming up against best in the league. And even your better players are out of form. Like Dallas isn't what he was doing last season, and Llorente as well.
Rafinha's dropped
Um,
off a little bit in recent
your
weeks.
Feeney's dropped off a little bit. You've seen a lot of drop off, and that's because they're in bad form and are down. You could not be down. I think
Yeah, of course.
it's like the first time in 70 years that a team has conceded more than 3 goals in 5 consecutive games.
That's insane.
I think I've got
Wow.
that right.
Wow.
Um,
I hadn't heard that. But yeah, I find it unsurprising. I know based on what he's done, and obviously the Leeds United fans will know better, of course. But I find it unsurprising, and I find it sensible, to be honest, to take a step back and like stop being emotional about it, because Marcel Bielsa is a great manager in principle and has done so much for Leeds United and really loves the club. And then start thinking logically about what the outlook looks like, what the projection looks like. Start being more scientific
I
about it and say, okay, let's maybe try Jesse Marsh appointment is in the same path tactically as
Yeah,
what Marcelo Bielsa is going to
it's
do.
not a Big Sam firefight job like whatsoever.
Exactly.
He'd be or anybody's going to be more pragmatic than Bielsa, but you know uh he's still a very positive manager. Like his Salzburg team was young, but he still expected them to go and attack against in the Champions League. Like
Yeah.
so it's not a massive philosophy change. Though he may go zonal, which is actually quite a considerable change. Um, but with the when to sack decision for Bielsa, it it's do you? I feel like he deserves to be backed through a couple of these better fixtures that are coming up.
Interesting.
I thought he deserved at least the start of the easier run of fixtures, but if he loses if he starts if he loses 3-0 or something again, or I don't think even he couldn't he couldn't lose the next game, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But I think he should have been let judge on the next couple of games that were winnable, they could do better, and I thought he did. He should have. I thought he'd earned that at the very least, not to be judged on a difficult run of fixtures, even though the Everton one was in there. Um, and then the other side of that is that if you have lost faith in him, and you're like, I don't think he can turn this around, but then it's better off to give a new manager the easier fixtures. You think
Get the
the
bounce.
that can get the bounce and then have more an effect on the easier fixtures. So I get it, but I would have the fact that they're not in the bottom three yet, haven't been all season as well. I thought it might turn out to be right, but I don't think it was. I think it was slightly too early for me, given all that he has done. If
Yeah.
they drop into the bottom three and they're losing against teams that they should be winning or getting points against, then by all means. But it feels a bit harsh after coming up against top six tides.
I will say this. So Leeds United are not in the FA Cup anymore. So Jesse Marsh has the whole week from now, and that's maybe why they did the appointment so early, so that by the time
Yeah,
they reach the Leicester game on the 5th of March, they will have at least established the principles through training and applied it a few times and ran like a few practice games. And then you can go to Leicester with a good basis, because the next two fixtures are against Villa. Villa did record a win against Brighton on the weekend, 2-0, but they've been a bit off form. And then Norwich, the easiest game you can play. So I think in that sense, rather than going then to Wolves, like let's say Bielsa's given the chance against Leicester, Villa, Norwich, let's say, and then he
yeah,
goes to Wolves So Jesse Marsh, let's say, is appointed and goes to Wolves. That's a really difficult game because Wolves have the second strongest defense in the country. So I don't second in the division, I should say. I think it's sensible to do it now. Give the Leicester game. You don't expect anything from the Leicester game, really. Like any of the three results wouldn't be a
I think it might be
surprise.
sensible. It might be sensible, but I think it's more callous.
Interesting.
I think he deserved more than to be judged on games that the scoreline's one thing, but the scoreline's always going to be that with with the way his team plays.
Yeah.
If you lose a game, so I think something I wouldn't necessarily be that okay with as a Chelsea fan. Um, I'd hate to be losing to my rivals. What was it, 6-1 or 6? The United score when they got absolutely hammered.
That was
It's big.
4-2, but it was 4 goals.
But the last season's one, wasn't it
Last
6?
season's, oh yeah, it was 6-1, yeah.
Um, so it would not necessarily. He's not the way he plays football is brilliant. The way he approaches big games, I'm not necessarily as much of a fan of, but I would still respect that approach. And I just think that, yeah, I just think he definitely deserved more time against easier opposition. And also maybe to be, I'm not quite sure when there's a couple of the players that are close to coming back, and maybe if we let wait until one of them came back. So, but yeah, it's all ifs and buts, and it doesn't really matter now. But Jesse Marsh is in. I mean, even that's like, I don't know if it's a good appointment or not.
In
For
terms of
what they need right now, I think
yeah,
it makes sense. Like definitely within still the same idea, but unproven in the Premier League,
yep.
and then didn't do well with Leipzig.
Hmm.
We'll see. We'll see. If they go down and he's happy to stay around, then it's you're still progressing. You're still on that path, where you want to be.
I think they appointed him with the mentality that they're confident that it will stay up. They just needed a refresh,
Yeah,
and fresher ideas offensively. Maybe a better application of what Bielsa wanted to do defensively because they are still a high pressing team. Jesse Marsh, I'm sorry, is still a high pressing system guy. He's still like win the ball immediately after you lose it, and on the attack he's still very vertical and all about numerical superiority as you progress up the pitch. So on the long term, it's sensible. On the short term, you would be concerned about Jesse Morse's recent record, but it might be just a case of let's try to make Plan A better rather than like we trust Plan A. We're not in the bottom three yet, but let's
yeah.
refresh certain aspects about it and let's see how Jesse Marsh does. As a fellow American, I hope he does well. But yeah,
The last one in a similar position didn't go too well.
who
So
was it?
the last man, Brad.
Bradley. Yeah, Bob Bradley.
We'll see. I think Jesse Marsh. I mean, he's had more experience. And Bradley, I think I'm right in saying in terms of European game.
In terms of
Uh,
European competition, yeah.
and also like he's been educated more by like the more Bundesliga and that sort of system. So be interesting.
It will be interesting.
And he's done a good few interviews, and he's written for the Athletic as well. He rated Benfica, which after seeing them in the flesh, he obviously didn't watch the game I watched because Benfica looked bang average, but then they did do all right against Ajax, so maybe I just saw them on an off day.
uh,
Benfica, he said, was one of his favorite teams, and then finally, he done a good interview with Football Ramble ages ago, or about a year or so. I think he was still at Salzburg.
wow.
That if you're interested, is worth checking out. And he talks about his managerial style and his philosophy and all that there. I remember listening to it at the time. It was really interesting.
All right, so that's Jesse Marsh. I hope he does well. And all the best to Leeds, I guess, because
I
your
hope
dad's
Leeds
is
stay
a
up.
Leeds.
Yeah, I
Leeds
am pro
supporter, is he?
Leeds, even though I'm a Chelsea fan, but I am pro Leeds.
Yeah, there you go. All right, on to Italy for a goal because a lot of things happened there. After this. Italy. Madness. Well, the title race is still going on, and apparently nobody wants it. But the highlight event of the entire game week over there was probably the one involving Roma, starring the one and only Tammy Abraham. 99th minute winner at Spezia.
He can also put in penalties. Not that Chelsea necessarily needed, unless Tammy's good at saving them. Maybe that would have been handy for us. Yeah. But he put his penalty away quite well in the 99th minute. It was pretty good.
It was a great penalty too. Bottom corner, one of those in the bottom corner that like nobody, unless you're breaking the rules and diving before the penalty's taken, you probably don't have a chance. Unless you're like Kepa, standing up against Van Dijk and going one side of the goal, and then dive the right way, perhaps. But it was a great penalty under such pressure in the 99th minute. And the incident leading up to the penalty was mental. Like, you watch the incident, like the chance then was a huge goal mouth scramble involving like 15 players, and it gets cleared away after being cleared off the line a couple times, I'd say, and then the penalty is given after a VAR check. It's a correct decision, but it's a really unfortunate one because the defender, like I think it was Zaniolo, who dived in with his head. Yeah.
And he gets kicked on the chin by a defender. He's just like trying to get anything on it to get it away.
Yeah.
He ends up making contact with Zaniolo. It wasn't spotted straight away. It was a VAR decision, wasn't it?
It was a VAR decision, and it needed, like, Zaniolo at the time, you wouldn't know that he was kicked in the chin with that amount of force, because like if that was a little bit more powerful, maybe Zaniolo could have been knocked out. Like it was pretty bad. But Zaniolo got up and tried to like scramble the ball in, and then it was cleared out. It was an incredible moment, and Roma are currently in 6th place now with 44 points. Juventus are 4th with 50. So they're still thereabouts in the conversation for the Champions League, for sure.
The other thing just shout out about that game, sorry, is the Spezia goalkeeper, Providel. I only watched the highlights, but he was go watch the highlights. That like if he plays like that very regularly, he's a name to watch out for, because he done everything he could, and he was brilliant,
and went the right way for the penalty.
Went the right way for the penalty as well, but Tammy's just too good.
It's
Italy. Italy's been an intriguing league the last couple of years, or a few years. It's as like ever since Juventus
dropped
starting
off
to wane.
Yeah.
It's it's and all the big names are up there and have a shout for it. It's a great league at the moment.
It's a great league at the moment. If anything doesn't tell the story, this game week does. Genoa 0, Inter 0, Milan 1, Udinese 1, both the top two dropping points, and then Napoli winning to take top spot against Lazio, away at Lazio 2-1. So now Napoli lead the league. I think the league leaders changed hands maybe 3 times in the last 4 game weeks. Napoli are now top with 57. Milan are the same number of points, just behind by 6 goals. Inter have 55 points. Goal difference is in their favor, and to be fair, they have a game in hand. So if they win the game in hand, they go 1 point
Ahead by
above
one. Yeah.
Milan and Napoli. But you can never guarantee anything because the kinds of results that are being like Milan drew against Salernitana last game week or something. I think it was a draw.
Inter's form isn't great. They've only won 1 in 5.
They have
losing the Milan derby.
Yeah.
And to Sassuolo as well.
The Milan derby as well was incredible, by the way. But carry on.
Yeah, that was Giroud that had a brace in that. Was that one?
Yeah, in like a very short amount of time. It was a comeback result too. Woof.
But they're not in great form, so there's no guarantees that they're going to win that game in hand at the moment. And
no, absolutely.
And yeah, like the form table in Italy, like there's nobody that has 3 wins in the trot.
Incredible.
Is like that's pretty good going.
Yeah, very nice. I look forward to watching the rest of the league. I'll be watching closely because this is too good to miss. But yeah, moving on now to probably the maddest part about the entire weekend. Even worse than the Carabao Cup final and the title challenge. It's our own mini league of fantasy. Just another fantasy pick. And
yeah, it was actually it wasn't actually this game week. It was the previous game week.
Yeah, because there were midweek games.
Has turned this title race upside down. So we all done very well, and 3 out of the 4 of us played a special play. I went for a second pick and I picked Salah, got 28 points. I was pretty chuffed with that.
Mm-hmm.
You, Ali, you went and triple captain Trent, which got you very respectable 18 points.
Well, I'm pretty mad about that.
We'll come to why that mightn't be so good.
Ugh.
Harry done well, 13 points. Maybe when you look at that, he didn't triple captain it. Maybe he should have. Maybe Trent doesn't look so good there. Then what makes Trent look bad, the fact that you've triple captained him, is the fact that George, after triple captaining Salah, has 84 points in 1 game week. So from being bottom, George is now on top spot with 151 points. He is, what's that? How many points is that? That is 15 points ahead of Ali.
Yeah.
And then Ali's on 126. I'm on 121. I've made a bit of ground on Ali as well. And then Harry now has 84 points. So, Ali, you played your triple captain, so you're going to have to make up that ground through good, honest picks. And we're at the point in the season now where we've picked a lot of the good players. So it's going to be interesting. It's all come. It's all come up, George. I mean, an incredible triple captain week. I don't think we're gonna get many better times to pick that, and more obvious times to pick that. I mean, I'm glad I went for Salah, but it just didn't. I wouldn't have been able to triple captain and double pick. But that was the previous game week. The next game week brought us all back down to earth. I had the most points. The game week just gone. I picked Bruno Fernandes and just got the 3, 1 point for the clean sheet. George and Ali both 2 points for Weghorst, and Harry got 1 with Mahrez. So pretty much stayed the same the week after.
Well, there is another game week for Weghorst because he's playing Leicester in midweek.
Maybe he'll score 10 goals and
make up the ground.
Make up the ground.
He might score 10 from set pieces the way Leicester are going at the moment.
In fairness, 15 points, Weghorst, a hat-trick would do that, wouldn't it?
A hat-trick of corner kicks, maybe. A hat-trick of corner kicks and one from open play. What's so wrong with that? Or maybe 2 from corners, 1 from another set piece, and 1 from open play. It's Leicester. It's fine. It's fine. Oh god. So the problem is I'd picked Salah twice. In game week 5 when we played Man United, he got me 24 points. And then the following game week I got 5. So that was an opportunity wasted. And now I'm thinking, what if I just was a little bit more patient and picked Salah later on when there was a better chance to do it right about now? So at least the difference wouldn't be so great. Fun fact, Harry has more points total as George got this game week. So
Why?
this will not happen again. This type of points, I don't believe.
Yeah,
it
well,
will.
I did. So I didn't even realize that Harry has the exact same amount of points as George got in one game week.
In one game week, 84. Like this kind of points accumulation will not happen again. I don't believe.
I mean, I can't pick Salah again.
You can't pick Salah again. I can't pick any of my special plays. Salah can't pick Salah again.
Harry can't pick Salah again. Yeah, and so we're left with a less obvious triple captain option.
Yeah, that's you and Harry.
Me and Harry, and we've got 10 games to go to make up. Well, I've got over 20 points to make up. So we just have to hope that George's form resumes, which isn't out of the realms of possibility either.
What's incredible is that George hadn't picked Salah up till that point. Like he's
persisted
without Salah and then just picked the right moment. Fair play. We've slandered him before.
He hasn't always gone for the most obvious, but in saying that, in the last few weeks he has gone for a few big names with Son, De Bruyne, Lukaku, Maximan, Salah, all in the past.
Yeah.
8 game weeks or so. So he had, but before that he was going for a more obscure pick. So he's got a few in the bank that he can perhaps go for. Whereas, yeah, me and Harry I think have gone for both more obvious ones. Although I don't think I've gone for Ronaldo yet, but maybe Ronaldo will hit another purple patch. Who knows?
I think my worst decision so far is to pick Ronaldo. In fact, he's the only guy of all the game weeks to have gotten me 1 point. So there was only Ings that got me 0 once, and that was it. Like those are the lowest to scoring. I will never pick a Man United player again, either on actual fantasy or in just another fantasy pick. There's plenty more room. Like
I've got loads of zeros. I haven't counted how many I have.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros.
I've got six zeros, but I'm pretty good at getting a double figure game week.
Mm-hmm. That is true. That is true. Oh, and another fun fact is that this was George's first double figure game week.
What? That's incredible.
Oh my god!
He nearly hit triple figures. He was that good.
Oh yeah, yeah. He made up for everything and more and more. And on that note, Fergal, on this huge L we've both taken, I guess.
I've taken a couple of L's this weekend, but I've had good fun.
Yeah.
And yeah.
All right.
Makes things interesting.
Makes things less depressing. Okay. Have a great rest of your week, guys. Have fun. Again, take care of yourselves. Be kind. Donate whatever you can to good causes. And try best to be a good human being. And that's all, really. That's all what humanity can ask for.
Don't grow up to be a referee.
Don't go up to be a referee. Wow, Fergal. All right. Have a great rest of your week, guys. Enjoy yourselves, and we will see you on the next one. Cheers.